Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Chargers and Madden Ultimate Team fans, we got an interesting one today. It seems that every time I put together a gameplay or a lineup update, you guys are always asking me the same question. Director, how are you getting your players to 99 overall? Director, how are you getting a 97 overall defense and 95 overall offense while maintaining 50 out of 50 Chargers? If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what you call a theme team, or at least a 50-50 theme team. The reason that you want a theme team, or whether it be the Chargers, the Niners, the Raiders, is because you get some pretty awesome benefits when it comes to chemistry. Take a look up above my head. You get +2 speed, strength, awareness, throw power, all the above. It's pretty nasty. Honestly, it's pretty nasty. And I feel like 99% of Chargers, or I should say Madden Ultimate Team players, are running some semblance of a theme team. So in today's video, I'm going to kind of give you guys a tour of my theme team, what I'm running, the decisions I'm making to get the most out of the players that come from the Chargers. That's not to say that players on this squad that aren't Chargers, like let's say this Deion Sanders, don't have their place on this squad. It's just, you know, you got to fill out some of the spots in your roster that might be a little bit weaker. And this is more of a luxury thing. This is another thing we'll go over, is adding players that aren't part of your team, aren't part of your theme team, to fill holes in your roster and make the most out of a complete squad. So before we do get into this, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. How to build a powerful theme team in Madden Ultimate Team 21. So let's get right into this, guys. There's a couple of common things. I shouldn't say common. I should say things that a lot of people that are running a theme team know, but maybe not everybody does know. And these are pretty important tips if you're going to be assembling a theme team. All right, so the first thing that you're probably going to want to look at is your team captain. Now, this is going to be, you know, one of those 3 or 4 guys that you can pick. I decided to go with Leroy Glover because obviously on a theme team for the Chargers, we're pretty weak at defensive tackle. As of late, we did get Tommy Harris, who is a monster. I'm going to be showing you guys the abilities and stuff I'm running on these guys as well, because I feel like I got a pretty good idea of what's working for me, at least with the Chargers squad. Besides the point, though, let's take a look at this Leroy Glover. Now, why is this card so important to a Chargers theme team? Directory, Leroy Glover never even played for the Chargers. Well, that being said, this card does get 1, 2, 3, 4 Chargers chemistries, and likely we'll get another with Series 4. When that drops, I do have to assume that we're going to get another slot for your team chemistry. And again, this isn't just for the Chargers. You can add literally any team chemistry that you want to this. Basically, at the beginning, when you get this Leroy Glover, you're going to choose one from your respective squad. So if you're a Niners fan, you're going to pick the Niners edition of Leroy Glover, and then you can add up to 4 slots here once you do get him upgraded all the way, which again, you got to use those captain tokens. Very simple. I'm sure a lot of people have their team captains updated to at least a 93. And again, keep in mind, you might get one more slot here with Series 4 when that drops. I do assume that they're going to be adding 1 team chemistry slot with every series update. Okay, so that's one big thing that a lot of people overlook, that they're wondering, you know, how I assemble a theme team. I don't have enough slots. Definitely make sure that your team captain is up to date. The next thing is taking a look at your team diamond. Now, this Eric Weddle, we'll show him off a little bit here too. Your team diamond, aka, you know, at the beginning of the program, we did see a team diamonds promo, and these are specific players that came with more than 1 chemistry for their team. Be it this Eric Weddle. Now, this Eric Weddle just got an upgrade for Legends, which means he is a 97 overall. Most of the team diamonds you're going to find are between, what, like 87 and 89 overall. This Eric Weddle is actually a beast. Let's take a look at his attributes here really quick. 98 speed, 99 tackle, play rec, really good man in zone. Eric Weddle's an absolute beast. At some point, we'll get a gameplay out so you guys can see him in action. But the other really important thing about him, as I exit out, let's go back in, is his ×3 Chargers chemistry. Now, again, He has had an upgrade, but the card that actually gets this is his team diamond. If we go back here, it's this item in the tier right there. This is add this player's team diamond to the item slot. You're going to get this card, and it does have ×3 chemistry. So every single team has a different team diamond that has ×3 chemistry for their squad, which is pretty important when assembling a theme team of any kind. Even if it's a depth position guy, you're like, director, I don't want an 87 overall on my team. Well, make sure he's on your theme team so you get the added benefit of those extra chemistries, okay? The last couple of things I will mention as far as team chemistries go, because it's pretty simple past that, is your team strategy. Now, we do have Anthony Lynn on here, of course, not the head coach of the Chargers anymore, but this is the card that you want for a Chargers theme team in order to get that extra Chargers chemistry. Okay, so Anthony Lynn, if you add this to your coaching, card, you're going to get this extra chemistry for him, which means that all of a sudden, I've got like 3 or 4 extra chemistries for my captain, a couple extra chemistries for my team diamond, and now an extra chemistry with my coach as well. Now, unfortunately, I have checked. I've been looking, at the stadiums quite a bit. There's no way to upgrade these at any point right now. Maybe they're saving it for a different promo. I would assume that you would be able to get additional chemistries with that as well. So make sure you have your head coach. Make sure you have your stadium too, because again, you'll notice another Chargers chemistry on your stadium. These are all very important to adding extra chemistry spots. Now, I don't know if yeah, they do. So your unis and stuff as well will have team chemistries as well. So it does look like these are upgradable at some point as well. You'll see that there's a whole bunch of chemistries there. Maybe it's like your head coach where you can add other, base chemistries and stuff to it. But make sure that you're running your respective uniforms, your head coach, and your stadium. Okay, so that's all the basis stuff. All right. Now let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of this. I want to show you guys some of the chemistries that I'm running on my Chargers theme team to get the most out of this particular squad. Okay, so with the Chargers theme team, we're running a pretty good quarterback, and if you're looking for a different theme team, like let's say a Niners squad or a Raiders squad, you want a quarterback that fits your style of play. Fortunately for me, Justin Herbert fits a style of play that a lot of players are using. They want a guy with really good throw power. In Justin Herbert's case, he has 99, and then he also has the thresholds for the passing, which the thresholds for passing, I do believe, are like 80 for short, 85 for medium, and 90 for deep. I think that's what it's at right now. And you'll notice that Justin Herbert has 93 for short, 87 for medium, and 92 with deep when it comes to chemistry, which is very, very nice. 94 speed on top of that is very, very good. So Justin Herbert's quite the weapon for this squad. So make sure that your quarterback situation is solid. If you're not running a gunslinger kind of guy, definitely try out a guy like maybe Rich Gannon, who does get gunslinger, but he's more of a hot route master kind of dude, which means you get really glitchy abilities. We'll get into that in just a minute. Now, if you're running a strong arm quarterback, these are the chemistries or the abilities I would definitely recommend putting on him. Make sure you have Gunslinger. Gunslinger is one of the best abilities in the game right now. It will transform your passing game tenfold. For me as well, I also have Set Feet Lead on Justin Herbert. It's all about getting the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands faster. And trust me, I've played with quarterbacks that aren't named Justin Herbert, that don't have Gunslinger, and the timing of your passing game is completely dramatically transformed with these particular abilities. Okay? As for your X Factors, you can choose whatever you want. They don't activate as often as you would hope, but bazookas are a really good one for Justin Herbert, adding 15 yards to his max throw power. Very, very nice. Okay? The other abilities I do have on offense right now, you'll notice that both of my tackles on my offensive line do have an ability. This one's pretty important. At least it was more important. Maybe not so much anymore. Edge Protector. A lot of people, the meta a couple of months ago was definitely 2 edge threat defensive ends, and to counter that, you would simply put Edge Protector on your guys here. So I don't know if this is as important right now. I feel like as I've been playing, the meta has transformed. I don't see as many edge threat guys out there. Some people definitely try to just maybe put one on. So if they do see an edge threat guy on the field, they can put the edge protector guy on the edge threat and then double team the other one on the line. That's a way to get around it. Okay. So Justin Herbert, one of my favorite abilities in the game is Hot Route Master, which of course lets you add a couple more hot routes for your wide receivers, tight end, and running back. And this is a pretty important thing in Madden 21, even in Madden 20. So the fact that Justin Herbert can't get it yet is a pretty big deal. So what do we do to get around that? Well, you're going to have your abilities on your receivers and tight ends. Let's start here with Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates, we're going to go ahead and put tight end apprentice on him. That's one ability point that adds the extra 4 hot routes to Antonio Gates, which in my opinion is pretty important. Anything in the slot or at the tight end position, you're going to get corner routes, you're going to get slants, you're going to get Crossers. The crossers are probably the biggest and most important ones to have in your team, so definitely make sure to put that on. It's only one ability point for a guy like Antonio Gates, who is a possession tight end. As for running back, I'm still running LaDainian Tomlinson, and of course, you know, one of my favorite players of all time. He's behind me right there. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make LaDainian Tomlinson a really good running back in Madden Ultimate Team. So the way to kind of get around his archetype, which is elusive back, you're going to put on Backfield Master, which gives him the hot routes, that corner, the Texas route, very, very glitchy against man coverage. You definitely want to make sure that's on your team. And also, I've noticed this a lot when it comes to guys with Backfield Master versus guys like, let's say, Austin Eckler, who don't have Backfield Master. Maybe if I'm not running it on him or whatever, or maybe I'm running a quarterback with Hot Route Master. Backfield Master not only gives you the 4 new hot routes, but it also makes LaDainian Tomlinson, for instance, very glitchy when it comes to actually running his routes and catching the ball. So keep that in mind. This is why you see a lot of elusive backs out in Madden Ultimate Team right now. And then lastly, the last couple abilities I'm running, Keenan Allen has Slot Apprentice, which again gives him the extra 4 routes. And then Lance Allworth is running Wide Receiver Apprentice, which gives him all 4 routes from any position on the field. So again, Keenan Allen only gets him from the slot. Lance Allworth gets him everywhere. I would absolutely recommend having at least one wide receiver, preferably a route running archetype that gets a wide receiver apprentice, because that has definitely won me a ton of games. Now, the big thing here is on defense. A lot of people ask me questions all the time. Director, what are you running on defense? How are you getting so many picks? How are you generating so much pressure? The meta is currently at a point right now where you see a lot of one step aheads, a lot of acrobats, a lot of maybe edge threats or double or nothing. Okay, I'm kind of running my own thing, but I'm finding a lot of success with it, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. Okay, so keep in mind, something better probably exists, but I've been seeing a lot of success with this. Okay, now being the diehard Junior Seau fan that I am, again, him and LT, probably two of my favorite players of all time, I decided to add Lurker. And honestly, people say don't use linebackers because they don't get good animations when it comes to interceptions and ball defense. When you add Lurker to a middle linebacker, or any linebacker for that matter, it does turn them into pretty much the same productive players you would see in a safety or a defensive back. So if you want to use a linebacker like me with the Chargers theme team like Junior Seau, definitely add Lurker. Very, very important. And of course, Junior Seau has the stats to back it up. I've been getting a ton of picks with Junior Seau. Okay? You guys will also notice that I have a bunch of X factors on players that don't have abilities. This is more of a strategy standpoint for me. I do feel like the ability that, let's say, that Eric Weddle has on right here, which is universal coverage, this one does activate more than it doesn't for me. So I would say on average, I would see maybe one guy a game get their X factor activated, because it's a little bit easier to activate than the other abilities or the other X factors that I've seen in the game so far. And more than anything, it just adds like an X underneath the player, and that kind of trips out your opponent a little bit, makes them pay attention to them and respect the deep ball. So I would especially make sure you have some form of ability or X factor on both of your safeties, because it definitely makes your opponent think twice before throwing the deep ball over and over again. You'll also notice a couple of abilities and X factors on my backup guys. So right now, as of right now, Derwin James is my other user on my linebacker, so I play a lot of nickel and dime. Derwin James does have universal coverage, so I send him in coverage like a deep blue or a middle zone all the time. So in order to capitalize on him, make sure he looks like a threat on the field, I made sure to give him an ability as well, because he's on the field for me a lot. Now, probably the most exciting thing, let's actually look at the cornerbacks real quick. I have Antonio Cromartie, Quentin Jammer, and Deion Sanders. Some people say, Director, you have a 97 Chris Harris Jr. sitting right there. Why don't you use him? I definitely could, but at this point in the game, I want to try and get as close to 99 speed on all my DBs as possible. So Deion Sanders is definitely going to stay on the squad for a while, and he was my free one for the 50 promo. Okay? If you can manage it, I would absolutely recommend putting Acrobat on all your defensive backs if you can. In my case, I'm going to put it on Quentin Jammer, Antonio Cromartie. Deion Sanders, in my opinion, doesn't need it. He's one of the best corners in the game. I've been having a lot of success with Deion Sanders, which is funny because he's not part of the Chargers theme team, but this guy absolutely produces. I'm going to say this. If you guys haven't played your 50 solos yet and you're like, who do I choose? Randy Moss, Deion Sanders? Choose Deion Sanders. Not only in the as far as a defensive back has he been absolutely incredible for me, but he's also been incredible as a returner. Like, holy, I have scored like, I don't know, 10 10 times more special teams touchdowns with Deion Sanders than any other card that I've played with. And I've had some pretty glitchy corners with speed and such on this team before, so definitely recommend Deion Sanders. Now, my favorite part of the defense right now is definitely my defensive line. This unit is ridiculous. Now, on both of my outer guys, I run a lot of 4-3, but again, mostly nickel. So you're going to see, 4 guys on the line and then a bunch of guys in coverage. Double or nothing is always what I'm going to keep on my edge guys if I can afford it. So Dwight Freeney and Joey Bosa are both going to get double or nothing and only for 2 AP, and that generates a lot of pressure from the outside. Some people say, don't you have to user it for it to work? In my case, I've noticed that you don't need to user it, and it's been really, really successful for me. So those 2 guys are specifically there to generate pressure, and they've been very, very, very good. Okay, but what about my interior guys? So you'll notice that I do have an ability on my backup Deacon Jones, and it's because if we go to specialists here, this is the unit that you're seeing most of the time on the field in nickel and dime packages. Joey Bosa, Tommy Harris, Deacon Jones, and Dwight Freeney, and it's because of the abilities that they do get. The interior guys, this is probably my favorite ability in Madden Ultimate Team right now. It's going to be this one, Inside Stuff. It feels like every single time my opponent calls an inside zone run, no matter what, this ability is going to activate and they're going to get blown up behind the line of scrimmage. I mean blown up. So I decided to put Inside Stuff on Tommy Harris in case they run a zone to the left, and put it on Deacon Jones in case they run a zone to the right. Pretty much what this does is erase the inside zone run from my opponent's offensive scheme. Literally, it takes that away completely. And that allows me to adjust my pressure, to the outside and stuff like that to generate a lot of heat so that it stops the zone runs to the outside zone runs. So I can focus in on that and let Tommy Harris and Deacon Jones handle all the inside zone stuff. It's been very, very successful for me. Okay, now the last couple of things we'll talk about, bit of a longer video, that's fine guys. I'm trying to help all Chargers fans, all theme teamers get to the point where they feel comfortable running head to head with their theme teams. We've already gone over all of the abilities. These are the favorite ones that I have right now. Chemistries, it depends on your quarterback, it depends on your specific lineup. Go deep works for me because I need that extra throw accuracy deep on Justin Herbert. Very, very nice. I would say lockdown is a must for about 99% of theme teamers or even just normal Madden Ultimate teams. Lockdown is definitely going to make a huge difference out there for you guys. And then a lot of people ask me about my physical tier. I use Sprinter now. I used to use Brawler all the time. Really helps with your defensive and offensive line with the extra strength. But Sprinter, to me, I've noticed helped me a lot in coverage. And with the abilities that I have dedicated to my offensive and defensive line, I figured it's my coverage guys that need the little bit of extra boost in agility and acceleration. So it's going to be Sprinter for me. Now, the very last thing I'm going to mention here, the special teams guys definitely have Deion Sanders, a really good fast guy out there for your returner, and kicker. If you don't want to dedicate another one of your available slots to, let's say, a kicker, definitely put your good kicker with the ability of a focus kicker in your kickoff specialist slot, okay? You can sub them in before doing every field goal. That way it frees up another spot for your theme team. Okay, now the very last thing I'm going to mention is the vacancies on this Chargers theme team. The vacancies basically mean that I have, let's say when this team is fully put together, let's say I have like 60 out of 50 Chargers chem, which again is, we're talking about this thing over here. Whenever you have extra chemistries that are above 50, because you don't need more than 50, you want to start filling holes on your roster. Right now, as of this moment, I've got Deion Sanders in there because I wanted a little bit of extra speed, but honestly, I can get away without him. I definitely revamped my entire offensive line. I dedicated 5 spots just to that. That's been a huge help. Definitely try and upgrade that line, because if you're not, you're running with something like I have here, Sam Tevy, Forrest Lamp, Mike Pouncey, Trey Turner, Brian Bulaga. That's just not going to get it done in head-to-head. Make sure you dedicate a lot of space to that offensive line. And then on defense, I would say a lot of theme teams look great on defense right now. There's been a lot of cards released this year, but if you can manage it, make sure to get a good defensive tackle that's good to stop the run. Maybe fill in any holes you have at cornerback. A lot of teams have completely loaded cornerback depth, and then maybe add in whatever helps you with your overall. For instance, my outside linebackers don't see the field too often. I only really put him out there in like 4-6 when I'm really trying to like stop the run desperately. So I decided to put Ahmad Brooks and Hugh Green in there to help my overall. And honestly, at some point, if I'm like, I don't really want him on the team anymore, if I need an extra spot to add someone I really do want, I don't mind going back to like Takio Spikes or something, who is still on 92 overall. So this team is pretty loaded, guys. In the comments section below, let me know if there's anything that I missed that helps you guys assemble a theme team. I feel like I was pretty thorough in this one. This is exactly what I'm running in head-to-head. I'm finding a lot of success with it. Some guys are going to ask me, Director, what are you running as far as playbooks? I'm running, you know, the Saints vertical and the 49ers base 4-3. Those are two very good ones for me. But outside of that, man, I'm having a lot of fun in Madden Ultimate Team, and I'm finding a lot of success with this specific build. And I hope that if you guys are assembling, let's say, a different theme team, that this has been helpful to you as well. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. We will see you next time. Like and sub on your way out if you did enjoy this content. As always, brothers, bolt up and stay frosty.